The council hall of the Zarkan Galactic Empire gleamed like a star. Giant crystal pillars rose from the floor to the ceiling, glowing softly with alien energy. Hundreds of alien commanders filled the hall, their colorful scales and strange forms reflecting the bright light. Laughter echoed through the chamber as they toasted each other, celebrating another victory over what they called the lost humans. Humans? They are myths, gone centuries ago, a young alien officer said with a smirk. His voice carried over the hall, and a wave of laughter followed. The crowd laughed harder. Humans they believed were gone forever. Extinct. Forgotten. A species too small, too fragile, too weak to survive the galaxy. To the aliens there was nothing to fear. But in the shadows an old alien commander sat quietly. His scales were faded, his body scarred from countless wars, and his eyes held the weight of history. He leaned forward slightly, his voice low but firm. "Legends don't vanish, they wait," he whispered. The words were almost lost in the noise of the celebration, but they carried a chill. No one paid him any attention. They thought he was old, paranoid, afraid of shadows that did not exist. The young officer laughed at the whisper, shaking his head. Then the screens around the council hall flickered. A low hum filled the room as the central sensor array detected something unusual. "Commander Xylax, there's an anomaly in Sector Theta 9, a technician reported, pointing to the glowing holographic display. "Energy readings, off the charts. Faster than anything we know." Xylax waved a claw dismissively. "Impossible. There's nothing in that sector. It's uncharted. It's empty. Move on." But the sensors continued to beep, small red warnings flashing across the room. The alien commanders glanced nervously at each other. The celebration faded slightly as whispers began to spread. "Could it be?" one officer murmured. "Impossible," another replied. "Humans are gone. This must be a false reading." Yet the blip on the screen continued to grow. A tiny dot in the dark of space, moving faster than the fastest ships in the Empire. It seemed to blink in and out, almost teasing the council. The room fell silent, the laughter gone. "Magnify the readings," Xylax ordered, his voice losing some of its confidence. The technicians obeyed. The small blip grew clearer, revealing strange energy patterns unlike any known technology. It moved with purpose, precise and controlled, not chaotic like a natural phenomenon. "Unknown propulsion system," a scientist said, frowning. "It's moving faster than light, faster than any warp engine we have ever seen." A murmur spread through the hall. Alien commanders exchanged worried looks. For the first time in centuries they felt something unfamiliar: fear. Xylax's claws tightened around the railing as he stared at the blip. "What is it?" he whispered almost to himself. No one had an answer. The old commander leaned back in his seat, his eyes narrowing. He had seen the stories, the old legends passed down by the first explorers. Humans. They were said to be clever, adaptable, unpredictable. But surely that was only a story. Yet here it was. Something moving faster than thought, appearing where humans should not exist. The blip grew larger and the sensors struggled to keep up. It was no longer a tiny dot. Its shape became clearer, sleek, angular, and impossibly advanced. The red warnings turned to flashing alarms. Panic began to rise. "You said they were myths," one officer shouted at Xylax. "They are something else entirely." Xylax swallowed hard. His confidence, once unshakable, began to crumble. The council watched in stunned silence as the blip moved closer, faster than any of them could comprehend. Then a deep rumble shook the hall. The screens flickered and the energy readings spiked. Whatever it was huge. And it was coming toward them. The old commander stood slowly, his voice cutting through the tension. "Legends never die. They wait. And now, they are here." A hush fell over the council. The young officer who had mocked humans now trembled, his eyes wide. The laughter and celebration of minutes ago seemed like a dream, replaced by a cold, creeping fear. On the main screen the blip continued to grow. Its speed was terrifying, its energy signature unlike anything in the galaxy. The alien fleet, proud and powerful, had never seen anything like it. "Prepare the defenses," Xylax ordered, though even his voice lacked conviction. "We do not know what we face." The old commander's eyes glinted. He knew. The humans were not gone. They had never been gone. They were waiting, watching, and now, after centuries, they were finally back. The small blip on the screen became impossible to ignore. It was larger now, faster, and closing in. The entire council could feel the weight of it, a silent warning that everything they knew about the galaxy was about to change. And then, a deep vibration shook the station as if the stars themselves had shifted. The blip, once small and distant, now filled the horizon of the sensors. Something colossal was coming. The council gasped. The old commander's whisper became a roar in his mind. The humans, they are real. And they are coming. The blip grew bigger, and the entire galaxy would soon know fear. The council hall was silent. The once loud laughter of alien commanders had vanished, replaced by nervous murmurs and frantic movements. Screens flickered as the strange blip continued to grow, its energy readings climbing to impossible levels. Every officer present felt a shiver down their spine. "We need a visual," Xylax barked, though his voice lacked its usual authority. "Magnify all sensors. Track that object." Technicians worked frantically, their claws tapping on holographic panels. The tiny blip, once a distant dot, began to take shape. Its sleek body shimmered in blue and silver light, cutting through space like a sharp knife. "Impossible," muttered one officer. "That design, it doesn't match any known technology. It's organic, almost alive." The old commander leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "I told you, they wait. And now, they move." The human ship appeared fully on the largest holoscreen. It was massive, far larger than any scout craft the aliens had ever imagined. Yet its design was strange, elegant, and frighteningly efficient. No weapon turrets protruded. No missiles waited in tubes. It was silent, deadly, and deliberate. "You said humans were extinct," one young officer shouted, turning to Xylax. This is impossible." Xylax clenched his claws, unable to respond. His mind raced. The energy readings were off the charts. The ship moved faster than light itself, or at least faster than any warp engine the Empire had ever built. The ship made no aggressive move. It didn't fire weapons. Yet the presence of the craft alone caused the alien fleet's sensors to flicker, shields to weaken, and communications to stutter. Panic began to spread. "Sir," a technician stammered, "it's not just one. There's more." The camera pans out. On the holo display, tiny lights began appearing in the dark void beyond the human ship. Dozens, then hundreds. The alien fleet tensed. Thousands of red alarms began to ring across the council hall. "What in the galaxy?" Xylax whispered. The old commander's voice was calm, almost satisfied. "Legends don't vanish," he said softly. "They wait. And now, the waiting is over." The aliens tried to form a plan. Orders flew across the council hall. Ships were deployed. Weapons charged. Shields raised. But the human ship moved unpredictably, darting from sector to sector, avoiding every sensor sweep. It was faster, smarter, and more coordinated than any alien craft could anticipate. "You don't understand," one officer shouted in fear. It's thinking. It's adapting." Meanwhile, the small fleet of human scouts, no more than a few dozen ships, began to move in formation. They were precise, calculating. They didn't fire a shot, yet the alien commanders felt their threat. The ships seemed to anticipate every move, as if they knew the alien fleet's plans before they were even made. Xylax slammed his claws onto the railing. "Prepare weapons. Fire at will." But before any shot could even reach the humans, the lead human ship emitted a pulse of energy. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense. It didn't explode. It didn't destroy. But every alien sensor, shield, and communication system went dark. Entire divisions of the alien fleet went blind, frozen in space, unable to move or respond. Chaos erupted. Alien officers screamed over each other, trying to regain control. They disabled us. How?" The old commander leaned back in his seat, watching with a mix of awe and relief. "The humans are not extinct. They never were," he said quietly. More blips appeared now, far beyond the first human ship. The small fleet was just the beginning. Thousands more dots shimmered in the void, moving with the same terrifying precision. The galaxy's most powerful empire was suddenly on the defensive, unsure of what it faced. On the main screen, the first human ship hovered, almost as if it were observing the aliens. Its energy field pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat. And then, without warning, it accelerated. Faster than light. Faster than the alien fleet could even track. It disappeared from one sector and reappeared in another, mocking their attempts to intercept it. This is impossible," Xylax muttered. "No species, no technology, should be able to do this." The old commander's eyes glinted with knowledge and dread. "The humans, they are the galaxy's secret. And now, the secret is out. The alien council stared at the screens, panic rising like a tide. The first human ship, small but immensely powerful, had shattered their confidence. And the thousands of dots that followed hinted at a force the galaxy had never seen before. A new fear spread across the council hall. Not fear of defeat. Not fear of war. But fear of a species they had always thought was a myth, a species that had waited in silence for centuries, and was now returning with a power beyond imagination. The screens flickered. The first human ship pulsed again, a silent message to the Empire: "We have returned." And for the first time in centuries the aliens realized that legends were real. The council hall was in chaos. Alien officers scrambled, their claws slamming on consoles, shouting orders that no longer made sense. Alarms flashed in red and orange, warning of danger everywhere. The first human ship had vanished and reappeared in another sector, leaving alien fleets frozen in confusion. "Sir." "More readings," a technician cried, pointing to the main hollow screen. Hundreds of tiny blips were appearing in the darkness beyond known space. Each moved with precise purpose, each faster than anything the Empire had ever built. Xylax staggered back from the railing, disbelief painted across his face. "No, it cannot be, there are thousands of them." The old commander remained calm, his eyes cold and knowing. "They have waited, and now they come," he whispered. The tiny blips began to form shapes. They were no longer random dots, they were ships. Sleek, massive, perfectly aligned. Energy flares lit up their hulls in soft blue-white pulses, casting an eerie glow across the void. One by one the aliens began to comprehend the truth. The humans were not myths. They were a fleet. A massive, unimaginable fleet. "Thousands, no, tens of thousands," an officer screamed. They are coming." On the main display, the blips merged into long, shadowy outlines. The size of the ships dwarfed even the largest alien warships. Hundreds of kilometers long, yet moving with an unnatural grace, the human armada was more than a military force. It was a storm, a living machine of precision and power. The first human ship, the one that had started this chaos, moved to the front. It paused as if inspecting the alien fleet, the soft blue glow of its hull pulsing like a heartbeat. And then it signaled the others. Thousands of human ships responded, forming perfect formations, moving as one. The alien fleet tried to respond. Weapons charged. Shields lifted. Missiles launched. Nothing worked. The human ships did not fire immediately. They didn't need to. Just their presence destabilized the alien systems. Entire divisions went offline. Communications failed. Alien weapons misfired. Panic swept through the command center like wildfire. "Sir, our flagship systems are down," an officer screamed. "Everything is failing. We can't fight them." Xylax felt his claws tremble. His mind raced for a plan, any plan. But how could you fight an enemy that appeared from nowhere, moved faster than thought, and disrupted every weapon you had? The old commander leaned back, his gaze fixed on the screen. Legends don't vanish. They wait. And now, he paused. They are here. The human armada advanced steadily, no hesitation, no fear. It moved as if it had already won. Each ship was a weapon yet silent. Each pulse of energy sent waves through the Empire's sensor network, leaving alien officers paralyzed with fear. One of the young officers tried to call for a retreat. "We should flee. We cannot fight them." Xylax shook his head. "Retreat? There is no retreat. If they want us, we are done. Prepare the defenses. All ships engage." The alien fleet scrambled to respond, but the human ships anticipated every move. They split, they merged, they shifted formation at impossible speeds. One human battleship appeared behind the alien flagship, then vanished. Another blocked communications, leaving entire squadrons blind. The Council gasped as a human ship emerged near the outer edges of the Empire's defense lines. It fired no weapons, yet an entire alien cruiser was paralyzed, its engines fried in seconds. Alien officers screamed in disbelief. "Impossible. No species should have this power," one officer yelled. The old commander's eyes glinted. "It is human, and it is far beyond what they imagined." Then came the final reveal. From the darkness of uncharted space, a staggering number of ships emerged. Tens of thousands. Battleships, carriers, scout vessels, all perfectly organized. The human armada was no longer a force. It was a galaxy-wide storm of destruction, even without firing a shot. The alien council watched in horror. Their pride, their arrogance, their certainty, all shattered in moments. The humans, thought extinct, had returned with a force they could not comprehend. Prepare weapons. Fire everything. Xylax shouted, his voice cracking. But before the first laser could even leave a turret, the lead human ship pulsed. A soft, almost invisible wave of energy passed through the alien fleet. Shields collapsed. Weapons malfunctioned. Chaos ruled. Entire squadrons drifted helplessly in space. The council hall trembled. Officers screamed. Alarms blared. Even the largest dreadnoughts of the Empire were now powerless before the humans. Xylax fell to his knees, staring at the holodisplay. They are everywhere. The old commander, standing in the shadows, whispered almost reverently, they were never gone. They waited. And now, the galaxy will remember them. The human armada continued its approach, silent, deliberate, unstoppable. Red warning lights reflected in the terrified eyes of the alien commanders. For the first time, the Empire understood one terrifying truth. The humans were not myths. They were legends. And legends do not die. And in that moment, the entire council realized the galaxy had changed forever. The alien council hall was a storm of panic. Alarms flashed, consoles sparked, and alien officers shouted over one another. The humans had not yet fired a single weapon, yet entire squadrons of the Empire drifted powerless in space. Ships that once dominated the galaxy now floated like helpless toys, their engines dead, their weapons frozen. Xylax slammed his claws onto the railing, his scales bristling with anger and fear. Explain this. Why are our ships frozen? What are the humans doing? Technicians shook their heads frantically. Sir, we don't understand. Their energy fields, they disable our systems without contact. It's like the ships themselves are alive. The old commander watched quietly, a grim smile on his scarred face. I told you, legends wait. And now the wait is over. From deep space the human armada moved with eerie precision. Thousands of ships glided through the void, forming intricate patterns, splitting and merging as if guided by a single mind. Each pulse of energy from their flagship radiated across the battlefield, silently disabling alien weapons and shields. It was not chaos, it was art. Alien fleets tried to regroup, tried to fire, tried to retaliate. Every attempt failed. Missiles fizzled in mid-space. Lasers misfired. Communications collapsed. The humans watched, calm and calculated, as the Empire destroyed itself without lifting a finger. Xylax growled in frustration. We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. How can one species do this? A young officer turned pale. They are not just ships. It's strategy. They know our plans before we make them. The old commander's eyes glinted. Clever. Adaptable. Persistent. The humans are everything we underestimated, and more. On the holoscreen, the first human ship pulsed again, sending a silent wave of energy that rippled across the alien fleet. Entire squadrons dropped from formation, drifting helplessly. The Empire's pride, its arrogance, its confidence, all evaporated in seconds. The humans made no move to destroy. Not yet. Their strategy was simple: disable first, strike later. Confuse, paralyze, and demoralize. It was a silent war fought without weapons, leaving the aliens helpless and terrified. Sir, our command ship is drifting. Engines offline. Shields down, one officer screamed. Form defensive lines. Xylax roared. We cannot allow them to. His words trailed off as the humans moved again. Ships that were once at the rear of the Armada suddenly appeared at the front, perfectly aligned, blocking every escape route. The Council realized something worse. The humans were not just powerful, they were organized. Every ship, every pulse, every movement seemed perfectly synchronized, like a single living entity. Even the largest dreadnoughts of the Empire were no match. A technician whispered in horror, Sir, they're controlling the battlefield, without firing a single shot. The old commander nodded. Humans are not just strong, they are patient. They wait. They observe. They strike when the moment is perfect. Then came the broadcast. The humans did not speak in alien tongues. There were no threats, no roars, no intimidation. Just a calm, clear voice echoed across the hollow network. We have returned. Withdraw your fleets or face extinction. A hushed silence fell over the council hall. No alien commander had ever heard such authority, spoken without anger, without fear, yet stronger than any weapon. Xylax clenched his claws, his pride screaming in denial. We are the Empire. We do not kneel to myths. Fire everything. The humans did not respond. They moved again, and with a single pulse of energy, an entire alien cruiser collapsed. Engines fried. Shields vanished. The officers aboard could do nothing as their ship drifted into darkness. Panic spread like wildfire. Alien officers shouted, clawed at consoles, tried to regroup. But every move was anticipated. Every plan was countered before it could begin. The humans were everywhere, yet nowhere. Silent. Invisible. Perfect. The old commander watched the chaos, his voice calm but filled with awe. The galaxy is watching now. And the humans, they are showing it who truly rules the stars. Xylax stumbled back, terrified. How can one species? How? They were never gone, the old commander said. They waited. They learned. And now, they have returned. From the main display, the human armada advanced steadily. Ships that had been scattered in the void regrouped seamlessly. Energy pulses rippled across space, knocking down weapons and shields silently. The alien fleets were paralyzed, their pride shattered. And then the humans began their first coordinated strike, not of destruction but of warning. Entire divisions of alien forces were immobilized, trapped in place, watching helplessly as the humans demonstrated control over the battlefield. "Sir, it's perfect," a young officer whispered. "We can't move. We are trapped." The old commander smiled faintly. Legends do not attack immediately. They teach. They prepare. And humans, they are the greatest legend of all. The council hall trembled. The Empire's fleets were helpless. Their arrogance destroyed them more efficiently than any weapon could. And in the distance, the pulse of the human armada continued, silent but undeniable. The galaxy was no longer theirs to command. And at that moment, every alien commander understood the truth. The humans were not myths. They were unstoppable. They were patient. And they were coming to reclaim what was theirs. The alien fleet was in total disarray. Their ships, once symbols of power and pride, floated helplessly through space. Entire divisions were disabled by the silent energy pulses of the human armada. Officers screamed orders, but the humans anticipated every move before it could be made. Xylax's claws slammed onto the railing. "All weapons. Fire everything," he roared. "Destroy them before they gain more ground." But the humans did not panic. They did not fire blindly. Their ships moved with precision, slipping between alien fire, appearing where no one expected them, and striking with pinpoint accuracy. The first human ship, larger than any alien battleship, moved to the center of the battlefield. Its hull shimmered with energy, almost alive, and a soft blue pulse radiated outward. Entire alien squadrons went offline in moments, their weapons fried, their engines dead. A young officer screamed, "We can't hit them. Nothing works." The old commander leaned back in his chair, watching the chaos. Legends do not fight like the rest of the galaxy. They think. They adapt. And humans, they dominate. From deep space, more human ships appeared, emerging from sectors the aliens thought were empty. Hundreds of sleek blue and silver vessels moved together in perfect formations. They split, merged, and circled the alien fleet, striking weak points before the Empire could respond. The first shots were fired, not as destruction but as precision strikes. Alien command ships were the first to fall. One by one, the largest dreadnoughts were disabled, not by weapons, but by the human strange energy fields. Shields collapsed. Engines exploded. Communication systems vanished. Officers panicked. How can one species destroy us without touching us? Xylax growled in fury. "It doesn't matter. Fire everything. Target their flagship." But the human flagship moved faster than any alien ship could track. In a blink, it appeared behind Xylax's fleet, and the pulse of energy fried the Empire's largest warship. The battle lines collapsed in seconds. Chaos and confusion replaced strategy. On the front lines, human ships coordinated like a single organism. Every maneuver was perfect. Every pulse disabled alien systems, leaving officers screaming as their fleets were dismantled without a single direct attack. One human captain, aboard a smaller ship, observed an alien vessel struggling to move. Instead of destroying it, the human ship hovered nearby, scanning, learning. The aliens realized too late. They were being studied, analyzed, and outsmarted at every turn. The old commander watched in awe. They are not just warriors. They are thinkers. They are patient. They are humans. Xylax's eyes darted across the hollow screens. Entire alien divisions were falling apart. Ships collided accidentally, weapons misfired, and panic consumed the ranks. For the first time, the Empire faced a force they could not comprehend, a species they had thought extinct but now realized was unstoppable. A young officer whispered in terror, They are everywhere, and nowhere." The humans struck again. This time their target was the alien command center in the front lines. Without firing a single missile, entire fleets were paralyzed, drifting helplessly. The humans did not destroy unnecessarily, they acted with control, demonstrating power without wasting energy. Xylax roared in anger. "We are the strongest in the galaxy. How can this be happening?" The old commander's voice was calm, almost a murmur. The humans were never gone. They waited. They learned. And now, they are teaching the galaxy a lesson. Alien ships tried to regroup, tried to escape, tried to retaliate. Every attempt failed. Human ships appeared in impossible positions, cutting off retreat paths, isolating entire squadrons. The Empire's pride was shattered, its fleets scattered, and its commanders paralyzed with fear. The human flagship pulsed once more, sending a ripple of energy that disabled the last operational dreadnought in the immediate battle zone. Silence followed, broken only by the alarms of drifting, disabled ships. Xylax fell to his knees, trembling. We cannot stop them." The old commander looked at the holoscreen. His eyes glinted. Legends do not attack blindly. They strike at the perfect moment. And humans, they are the galaxy's greatest legend. The human armada advanced steadily, calm, deliberate, unstoppable. The alien fleets, once proud and invincible, now floated in helpless awe. Entire commanders were reduced to watching as their forces were dismantled without mercy. From the edge of the battlefield, new blips appeared. More human ships, more carriers, more vessels than the Empire had ever imagined. The scale of the Armada was terrifying. Tens of thousands of ships now filled the void, moving in perfect coordination. The message was clear. The humans were not just back, they were here to reclaim the galaxy. And the Empire, once mighty and feared, could do nothing but watch as their legends returned. Xylax's voice broke. They are unstoppable." The old commander's whisper carried across the hall. "Humans are patient. Humans are clever. Humans are eternal." And in that moment, every alien realized the terrifying truth. The galaxy had changed forever. The humans were back and nothing, not pride, not power, not weapons, could stop them. The alien fleets were in ruins. Once mighty dreadnoughts floated helplessly through space, their shields down, engines dead, and weapons fried. Panic had replaced arrogance, fear had replaced pride. The Empire's Grand Council, which had once laughed at humans, now trembled in silence. Xylax, the proud commander, sat slumped against the railing of his flagship. His claws shook as he stared at the holoscreen. Tens of thousands of human ships filled the void, moving with unshakable precision. Every pulse of their energy fields disabled alien systems instantly. Every maneuver anticipated the Empire's strategy before it could even be executed. They are everywhere," he muttered, voice breaking. How is this possible?" The old commander stood quietly in the shadows, his eyes glinting with a mixture of awe and fear. They waited. They watched. They learned. And now, the galaxy is theirs to see. The humans did not rush to destroy. Their strategy was perfection itself. Entire alien fleets were immobilized, drifting like toys in the vast emptiness of space. The human armada moved calmly among them, a tide of blue and silver ships that seemed endless. On the front lines, the human flagship pulsed with energy. Waves of power radiated outward, dismantling shields, corrupting weapons, and disabling communication networks. Alien commanders screamed, clawed at panels, and shouted orders, but nothing worked. Their mightiest ships were now powerless. Xylax tried one last desperate maneuver. "All ships. Regroup. Fire at the lead vessel. Concentrate every weapon." But it was too late. The human flagship shifted faster than thought, appearing behind the Empire's largest battleship. Its energy pulse washed over the vessel, frying every system instantly. The ship exploded silently, a ghostly testament to human power. From the distance, more human ships appeared, thousands, tens of thousands, stretching across the horizon of space. The full scale of the Armada was terrifying. Every ship moved in perfect coordination, every pulse calculated. The humans were not just a fleet, they were a force beyond comprehension. The Alien Council watched in horror. Xylax could not speak, could not even think clearly. Every command he issued failed. Entire divisions of the Empire were paralyzed. Pride, arrogance, centuries of power, all destroyed in moments. The old commander's eyes softened. Legends never die, he whispered. They wait, and they return stronger than the galaxy could imagine. The humans began their final display. They did not fire aggressively. They did not need to. One by one, alien ships were surrounded, immobilized, rendered helpless. Entire fleets drifted aimlessly, powerless, while the humans moved as if the battlefield belonged to them. For the first time, the aliens realized the terrible truth. Humans were not just strong, they were unbeatable, adaptable, and patient. The species that had been written off as myths had returned, not for revenge, not for conquest, but to remind the galaxy of its place. A young officer whispered, trembling, They are legends, real, alive. Xylax could only nod weakly, knowing the Empire had been broken, humiliated, and outclassed in every way imaginable. The humans did not destroy unnecessarily. They left some ships intact, crippled but alive, sending a message more terrifying than death itself. The humans had returned, and the galaxy would never forget them. The old commander looked at Xylax and the surviving officers. Remember this, he said quietly. The humans, they wait. They watch. And one day they will strike again. This is only the beginning. On the main holoscreen, the human flagship pulsed one last time. Its light swept across the galaxy like a silent warning, and then it vanished into deep space. The Armada moved with it, disappearing from sight, leaving alien fleets shattered and humiliated. The Empire was broken. Pride was gone. And for the first time the galaxy knew fear. Fear of a species they had always thought extinct. A species that had waited, learned, and returned with a power beyond imagination. And far in the distance, a single, mysterious human ship separated from the main Armada. It disappeared into uncharted space, carrying secrets unknown even to the aliens. A silent promise that the humans were not done, that legends never truly end. The council hall trembled. Officers whispered among themselves, their voices shaky. They will come again. Yes, the old commander said. And when they do, the galaxy will remember who the humans are. The humans had shattered the galaxy, not through chaos, not through rage, but through precision, patience, and power. The legend had returned. The myth was real. And the story of humanity had only just begun.